Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Hello. Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm so excited about being back that I'm stumbling, so please forgive me. But I've missed you all so much. It's been 2 weeks without you, and I had a little bit of Guided Spirit Conversations withdrawal. Anyway, but I'm back, and so am I bringing on this new guest, Giuliana Melo. So, Giuliana is a certified Invoking the Archangels practitioner and teacher, angel intuitive, angel empowerment practitioner, speaker, author, prayer facilitator. We need to talk about that. And a kindness ambassador. She is a lover of Mother Mary, and who isn't? And she loves to teach about her and about Mother Mary and how she helps us in all areas of our life. Giuliana lives in Calgary, Alberta, and she's with her husband of 35 years, her son, and her fur baby. She also believes, so I'm not quite done because I'm doing this in a little backwards order, but Giuliana believes in the divine healing energy of God. She loves being of service and connecting others to their divine team of help. She's an enthusiastic, fun, and faithful spiritual teacher who believes in the power of gratitude to shift your life. Welcome, Giuliana. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Marla. I'm great. Happy to be here with you today.
Thank you. And I know we're coming up to our Thanksgiving in the U.S. You're in Canada, and your Thanksgiving was in October, not too long ago. What was the date of your Thanksgiving?
I believe it was October the 8th.
I know it's a Monday.
Yeah, it was, let me just check. Oh, it was October the 10th.
10th. Yeah.
Yeah, so a little bit earlier than you guys.
Yeah, you usually about 6 weeks earlier or 7 weeks earlier than the U.S. But maybe the Pilgrims got there a little before they came down to the USA.
I don't know why that is, to tell you the truth.
I don't know, but we can just enjoy the fun of it. But the point is Thanksgiving, and the show is about gratitude, about giving thanks and appreciation. But before we get into the topic, I want to know, how did you get your journey started? What was the impetus that was your catalyst?
Well, in 2011, I was diagnosed with stage 3 peritoneal cancer, and I had been working for over 25 years in health information management, and I had to go onto a disability leave because I had 2 major surgeries and chemo, 6 rounds of chemo. And so when I was home, I realized I was in a lot of fear. And I am a faithful person. I was raised Catholic. And I was crying out to God, why me, why me, why me? And I actually heard, why not you, Giuliana? And I was like, okay, well, if why not me, God, I need help. I need help. And that was the catalyst that opened my intuition, because I believed that I had heard. Now I know it was the voice of God, because my angels have a different resonance. And I was open. I was open to healing. I was open to thy will be done in my life. And I was able to, it's really hard to put into words, because it was like this breaking open.
Mm-hmm.
And an allowing of this supernatural energy to help me move through the illness.
Wow, that's powerful. And right now you're fine? Yes?
I am, thank goddess.
Hey.
Yes.
I'm so happy to hear that. And so in your journey, and I know we're going to move into the gratitude piece of it, but what came first? Was it you being in gratitude? Was it finding teachers that would bring you into talking, being able to invoke the archangels and the angels and talk to them? Because there was a first step.
Yeah, I would say, after I got over the initial anger with God And when I flipped it from why me to why not me, because that's what God said, why not you, Giuliana? And when I said, well, I need help and I really need your guidance in how am I going to move forward, because I was at my proverbial bottom and I knew that up was the only way to go. And so, for me, I've always been a grateful woman, always. My whole life, I've been a grateful girl. And I knew that gratitude would help me shift regardless of my diagnosis, because the diagnosis for me was very scary.
Yeah,
Stage
well,
3 peritoneal cancer. A lot of people don't even know what the peritoneum is. It's that fat layer that encompasses all our internal organs. It's that protection. And I had Mets to all of my female organs and appendix. And by the grace of God, my lymph system was clear. And that's why I'm with you today. So for me, it was gratitude needed to be something that I tapped into every day. It was a matter of life and death.
it makes such a difference to go into gratitude. Um, and for your point, I mean, look at here you are looking like so radiant and beautiful, in the picture of health. I know when I went into gratitude, I did not have those kind of issues, but my life started shifting. Like we all have our dark nights of the soul. We all have those
Right.
times when we crash and burn, and we just are leveled by life because we don't know any better and we keep doing the same thing over and over again. The definition of insanity, expecting something
Exactly.
different, and the same thing happens and we get leveled over and over again. Or some people who learn faster, maybe not quite as many times, but um, being grateful for being shown a different way
Right.
is so powerful. So you were shown a different way. You stepped into your gratitude, and let's talk about how gratitude changed your life, how bringing it in, how you brought it in, and how working with it just really shifted your life journey.
Yeah, for me, in those early days of healing, I knew I had to journal. Like I was guided to journal. And in those days, because the chemo, I was so filled with chemo and I had anxiety, I did a bullet point journal. So my journal looked a little bit like I wrote down my intention for the day, the angels that I was tapping into, the food that I ate, and gratitude. And so the gratitude would be just a couple of things each day that I was really grateful for. And what I began to notice was the more you were grateful, and then I learned afterwards, the more God gives you to be grateful for.
Yes.
And it's so true, Marla. There was so much magic and miracles in that process that, when I look back, and it's been 10 years this year, because I had a secondary focus. So in 2012, I had a secondary procedure. So even though I had the cancer 11 years ago, officially 11 years that I have been walking through, but 10 years cancer free. And I'm very grateful. I think that gratitude is that energy. It's just such a high energy. They say love, light, joy are the highest. Gratitude is right up there.
Yes. I agree. I totally agree with you on that because I added gratitude into my prayers. I started praying when I was going through my divorce. And even to this day, my prayers take 20 to 30 minutes. And, with all the stuff that I bring out, but I always start each day with the gratitude. And I started um, probably 15 years ago with getting the gratitude into my prayers.
Mhm.
And I remember walking my dog one day down the neighborhood and I'm doing my gratitude and I realized like I'm practically skipping and singing. And it's like, oh my God, I am so joyful. And that started coming up in my daily life where the joy just kept rising. And I would wake up every morning singing and dancing. And so it was just such a great process. And I'm just loving for people to start in their journey, their gratitude practice. And so, do you have a different gratitude practice at this time than when you started?
Well, every day, as soon as I wake up, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the first thing as soon as I open my eyes, because I know that each day is a gift. And
Yes.
so that is my main gratitude practice. It was interesting because this past weekend I was in Phoenix at Celebrate Your Life. And I was in so much gratitude because, of course, it's been 3 years that I've been, it was at Sonny Don Johnston's Angel Day in 2019. And then, of course, COVID happened March 2020 and the world stopped. And during that time, I thought I was never going to see my tribe again, my
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix tribe. And so the entire time that I was there, I kept saying thank you, like in my head, out, to God.
Yes.
And I felt so grateful that nothing affected me adversely. Like I was able to hold space. I was able to be the observer. I was able to feel good. Like I can't believe how fast the time went by because
Yes.
I was in that state of gratitude. Like I felt like I was on a cloud, to tell you the truth. And I know it might sound silly. However, it was very powerful.
Yeah, it doesn't sound silly to me because, I totally believe that when you're grateful, when you're thankful, appreciative of your day, your life, an incident, or even as much as your clothes on your back, the roof over your head, whatever you're able to eat to nourish yourself, that it is just such a powerful magnet, like you mentioned earlier, for more. And it brings more of that to you. And I also believe it brings more like minded people to you.
Exactly. That was, it was so powerful that I even joked with my roommate. I said, I wonder if God's getting tired of hearing me say thank you, thank you, thank you. Because I was, there were so many powerful speakers and so many beautiful people. And it was just a blessed event. And the gratitude was like this bubble that protected me in a lot of ways from a lot of negativity, I guess, because there were a couple of people that were diagnosed with COVID, and the old me would have been in fear,
Yes.
except being in gratitude allowed me to sit in trust, trusting the process, trusting that I didn't need that experience for anything. I needed to be healthy and come home healthy and just enjoy.
And I mean, first of all, I've been to Celebrate Your Life, and it's a powerful event. And Liz does an incredible job with the process of putting this incredible event together, which is not easy. I used to be in event management, so I know that it takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and a lot of coordination. And but to know that people had been around you that with COVID, and you walked away without it even touching you. And I loved what you were saying about how being in trust. That is such a. Can we talk about that just a
Oh,
little bit about,
absolutely.
because there are many people that just don't trust the process. Can you talk about, from your perspective, trusting the process and how it magnifies the gratitude?
Yeah, I would say, with this particular example, I was sharing the old me lived in a lot of fear, the fear, and COVID is still scary. You hear that word, oh, someone's got COVID, and it could send you to a place of being really fear filled. And so I grounded myself and I thought, no, Juliana, you don't need this experience. Um, I believe in January, my husband and I had Omicron. I'm double vaxxed. And so I thought to myself, I'm protected. I'm feeling good. I've been eating good. Mentally, I feel good. I do trust God. He would not have allowed me to have this experience at this particular time only to bring home an illness. And I thought, no, I don't need, Ina Siegel, who wrote the book Secret Language of Your Body, says there's an emotional component to every dis-ease. And dis-ease is a lack of grace and ease in the body. And so
Yes,
I don't profess to be, a professional on this. However, I do believe in that theory that if you think that you need an illness for, say, external validation, you need people to give you, I don't even know how to articulate it. If you need that experience to have attention in your life,
I
for
call it a
example,
benefit program.
right, a benefit program. But I didn't
Yeah.
need that. I was like, no, I'm not claiming it. I am going to affirm health. I kept saying this affirmation that I learned from James Von Prague: happy am I, healthy am I, holy am I. Happy am I, healthy am I, holy am I. I don't know which way he
I
says it,
love
but
that.
right. And so I just kept affirming that I am healthy, I am healthy, I am strong. I do not need this virus. I don't need this experience of illness. I've had it and I know what it's like, and I am in a state of joy. I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be with these beautiful people that I thought that I would never see in person again. Because when you have community,
Yes,
online has been wonderful. However, there's still nothing like being in person.
I agree. I mean, you can't hug a computer and feel the same warmth that you feel from another human being. You can't feel the
Right.
heartbeat. You can't smell whatever it is they smell like.
That's
Their fragrance, their essential oil, their hairspray, whatever it might be,
right.
that's individually theirs. And I understand being in person really has what is it, a foot up over not being in person. I truly
Yeah.
agree with that. So I know that you reframed your situation. Have there been other situations that you've been able to reframe with gratitude and faith and trust?
Oh, yeah. It has helped shift everything. I have a son who is special needs, and at the beginning of the year, he's 24, and we are his legal guardian, legal trustee. However, he still is high functioning enough that he decided to go and trade in the car that we had given him. And so I really needed to sit with, what can I do? And how can I move forward in the place of, wow, he knows enough that he traded in the car. Now, I was so grateful that I have the tools. I called in every divine entity and people that I know in physical, lawyers, specialty people to help me. And we got the car back. I had to pay money, but we got it back because legally he's not to enter into any contracts without our co-signing anyways. However, there are people out there that will take advantage,
Yes.
and I was in so much gratitude that I've learned that there's always, like, everything is figure outable. Wasn't it Marie Forleo who coined that phrase, everything is figure outable? And in the learning to ask, just like in prayer, to
Hmm.
ask for what it is that I needed, I asked every divine entity and lawyers that I know, and within a few days we got the car back. And so I was grateful that although he did something that I would have in the old days perceived as bad
Hmm.
and gotten very mad, I was grateful that he's learning one day I'm not going to be here, and he's going to need to go through the world making decisions for himself. One of the most beautiful parts of Celebrate Your Life this weekend was being in the audience with Don Miguel Ruiz Jr.
Oh,
Oh, as soon as I met him, he was with Sonny and he hugged me right. I fell in love with him. He is a lovely, like, not in a weird way, just in a teacher way. He is
yeah.
an amazing spiritual teacher.
As
Toward
was
the
his
end of the,
father. As is his
yeah,
father, senior. Yes.
yes, and he was so kind, and he was talking about the domestication of children. And one of the ladies said, got up and asked a question, how do you not domesticate your children? And he said, well, part of our job is, and it's also to give them, if you make this choice, this is going to be the consequence. And if you make this choice, this is going to be the consequence. And we're meant to, prepare them for us not being here one day. I cried like a baby. He spoke right to my soul, because I was like, wow, that's what that experience taught me. I can be grateful that he had enough knowledge to do this, even though it was very traumatic.
Is it more
And
traumatic for you than for
yeah,
him?
I think so. I mean, he's impulsive, so he does things without thinking, and he's happy now that we unwound it. However, it was a lot of energy that we had to expend in that, and gratitude, absolutely. I am very grateful that there is a higher power that is guiding us,
Yes.
and that in the asking we will receive answers.
Yes, I agree. So I want to move into, because in the intro you talk about you're a certified, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Invoking the Angels practitioner.
Yes.
So let's talk a
So
little bit about that.
yeah, I've been following Sunny Dawn Johnston now for 10 years. And for years, I've been taking all different kinds of courses. And she is one of those teachers. I often say she's my soul mama, because when she speaks, I hear her. And one of the processes that have really helped me is her invoking the archangels. And for me, what that was, her process is every day you assign an archangel. So today is my archangel Gabriel, which is amazing because he's all about communication, speaking your truth, and he's the messenger angel,
Yes.
and one of the most holy angels. And so I love Gabriel so much. So on Thursdays, although I work with these angels every day, but Thursdays are a dedicated day for them. So she has this certification program, because I found I teach a lot of what I've learned from her. And a lot of times you don't want to, you don't want to step on anybody's toes. You want to make sure that you're doing things and giving the appropriate accolades and thanks and gratitude to the teacher. So now I took the certification class, and I can teach
Nice.
I can teach the 9-step process to heal your life from awareness to appreciation. So the 9th step is appreciation, gratitude, right? Where you
Right.
can go from awareness of what is causing a problem in your life, going within step 2, and then step 9, appreciation.
And what a perfect step for the closure step. For the,
Right?
you've gone through all these other steps, and 9, you're now saying thank you for what you've brought to me, or how you've protected me or taught me, whatever it might have been.
Exactly.
It's really powerful. And so you wrote your book, Love Yourself to Health.
Yes.
Let's talk about what the book is, and oh, that's a
So
beautiful cover.
thank you. Shanda Trofe was my publisher. And the reason this book came to fruition was I was in biz school, and we learned to have a lead magnet for our website. And I created a lead magnet, and she said, why don't we do a book? And so I call her my fairy book godmother. Anyway, so we created the book. It'll actually be 5 years, I think, this November the 11th.
Wow.
Oh no, 4 years, 2018. So 4
Okay.
years on November the 11th. And I realized that even though I've loved so many people my entire life, I forgot about me. And I learned through Ina Siegel and, the secret language of your body, that cancer is deep resentment held in the body. And I am an empath, and I'd held on to so much energy that wasn't mine. And not only gratitude to help me shift my life, and I needed to learn how to love myself.
Yes. Makes a
It's,
difference.
oh my gosh. And I remember Emmanuel Dagger interviewed me on his podcast 3 years ago, and he said to me, Giuliana, you need deeper self-love. And I was like, I didn't understand what he meant because I thought I was doing a good job loving
Yep.
myself. Little did I know it was a big sign of deeper. It was true that I needed to go deeper.
And and I'm going to tell you that I really truly believe that everybody did. I know that I thought I loved myself when I didn't love myself at all. And I didn't realize how much anger and resentment and loathing I had. And I thought I had tons of self confidence and tons of self esteem. And the reality of it was all for show. Because underneath the curtain was not somebody who was self loving. You had self esteem, self confidence, and all the things that go with it. And let's not talk about, I was not a forgiving individual, not to others, not to myself, which is one of the most powerful things one can do in that process to going to self love.
Absolutely, Marla. It's you're speaking directly to my spirit because I didn't recognize just how much growth I needed to undergo. And it's been an interesting process that even though I'm 58, I needed to heal my inner little girl. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just my experience is that my mother was sick when I was small, and so I needed to be the mother. I'm the eldest of four, and so I was put into that mothering role. And until I got sick myself, I did not recognize just how much my sister and my brothers resented that. However, I did the best that I could at the time with the knowledge that I had.
And you
With
didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better. And it's been a very painful journey because each one of my siblings perceived me in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was mothering, even though they didn't like it, on some level they were open to it. And as I've pulled away to heal my own heart, to disengage from the hovering, from the mothering, from the mother martyr energy, I think it's been hard on them. And it's not that I think I'm better than them. However, that's a perception that I believe that they're all having right now, that somehow I think I'm better than them, that I'm this spiritual teacher, that I'm out there sharing my stories. I don't share their stories. However, I think when you are a private person and you have this sister who's out there sharing her stories, because that's the way I need to heal, and that's the way my tribe wants me to be, it's hard on your family, on those closest to you.
It can be very, very hard. And I think that, and this is, and I hope that I'm not trying to step on anybody, but when you're going through your own journey, it's your journey.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with anybody else. And then, but everybody thinks, especially if they're family, that they have the right to interject their feelings, their beliefs, their projections onto your life. And it's not their right to do. But family is always so, like, there's like overlaid,
Right.
so it's, so even though you're trying to heal, you're trying to make your life the best it can be. And as I like to say, we're brought on this earth with our trials, with our tribulations from past lives and the current life accumulation, and we've got to heal it so we can have the life that God wants us to have, which is a life that has everything: abundance and health and fun and joy and whatever you want your experience to be, right? I mean,
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I want it all. And when I was sick and I thought I was dying, Marla, I really did. Not to be, you know, dramatic. However, I did. I thought I was dying. Stage 3 cancer is scary. I didn't
yes.
know the stage, I didn't know the grade. And my oncologist had always said if the cancer was going to come back, it was going to come back after 5 years. So I did not have that. When I reached the 5 year point, of course I was grateful.
And it
However,
was,
that seed had always been planted that, well, I'm never really clear. And so this is why a gratitude process has been so powerful for me, to stay in that I need to be in each day, present in each day.
Yes, and your gratitude doesn't keep you strong and resilient so that anything that comes to you, you can be grateful for, being able to handle it, having the
Ex-
tools, having the beings on the other side of the veil, as I like to call them, who are conspiring for your highest and best good. And so, yeah, gratitude does that. And kindness goes hand in hand with gratitude, being that kind person, because look, it takes nothing. It costs nothing to be kind, to be nice to somebody. I was just reading right before we got on the show about Keanu Reeves, and this is something that's
Mhm.
gone through Facebook a number of times, and all his losses, and in view of all of his losses, instead of becoming hard-hearted, he is generous beyond conception. You know,
Right.
giving away things, supporting people, having general interest in people who have less than him, giving them his time. And how brilliant and wonderful that is, and how the kindness piece just supports the gratitude.
It really does. And for me, I love that you're allowing me to share, because when I was at my 9 to 5, I had worked in that field for 34 years. I had an experience of unkindness. And so when I was pleading with God, if you give me more time, I promise to allow others to see you through me, and to really leave my clients feeling like I was kind, because you can be nice without being kind. However, kindness is that extension of love, which is the greatest healing quality that there is. And
Yes.
regardless, I say God, however, that term is interchangeable. It's love, great, great one, almighty, whatever that God of your understanding is. And for me, it was, I needed to go out into the world and be kind, because that's what I want. And
And
so in 2015, I created a charity,
oh,
Kindness Crew
nice.
Calgary Society Limited. Yeah, and we've done thousands and thousands of blessing bags, and collected, I don't know how many thousand socks and underwear and toiletries. And so we give a hand up to the homeless. And so for me, it's always doing those random acts of kindness for others, and showing that we are all connected. And that was such a hard thing during COVID, because COVID separated us.
It did
And
very
so
much.
that's the illusion, right? That they wanted us to feel separate. And the truth of the matter is, we are not. We are all one.
As we are many, we are one.
Exactly. We are
And
one.
and we are all interchangeable. We're all linked together, weaved together, because our energy is. And if you ever
Right.
saw the energy, it's a big grid.
It
You
is
know, we're all
that
together that
matrix.
way. Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely. Speaking of Keanu Reeves, we're talking
Yes.
about the Matrix now. But it is the Matrix, and it is just so incredibly, it's so powerful.
It
You
really
know,
is.
and kindness is, look, it doesn't cost anything to be kind, doesn't cost anything to be grateful for what you have.
Hmm.
And sometimes your kindness gets rewarded. I mean, anything you do comes back to you, right? Tenfold.
Right.
So if
Absolutely.
you're kind, you'll get kindness back. If you're generous, you'll get generosity back. If you're mean and cruel, guess what you get? And you find in the corporate, especially, I've been out of it for so long, but I know working in corporate back in the day, there's always that person who's got that little jabber, just jabbing at you one way or another, not supporting you and not allowing you to support the situation because it's got to be their way or the highway.
It's so true. I think that that's ego, right? Ego edge God out. And when you're
Yes.
in spirit, you're being kind, you're grateful. I mean, I don't think that people recognize that when we're these energetic beings, and when we're tapping into kindness and we're giving with a pure heart and not expecting anything in return, and we're grateful and we're being grateful, there are all of those laws of the universe that are in play. And not that we do it for that reason, however, it does work like that. The law of reciprocity, the
Yes.
law of giving and receiving, and the
Yes.
great law. I mean, it's just so powerful that I don't want it the other way anymore. I really don't. It doesn't feel good for me.
You can't be any other way because you are, it's going through. I heard this through, I don't, Sarah. Oh, what is Sarah's last name? She's a beautiful soul from, I think, this Seattle, Oregon area. But where she talks about you go through the one-way door down the spiritual path. And when you do, you can't go back. You don't want to go back to your old ways, you
No, it's
know.
too painful, because
Eh,
once you've had that expansion, to
Yes.
contract, it hurts. It
It's like
really physically hurts.
It's like wearing that corset from the 1800s, tied too
Yeah,
tight, right? Like I can't
exactly.
breathe anymore.
I don't know how those poor women did that with those
I,
girdles. My gosh.
I know. I'm so grateful for our clothing. We have a
Exactly.
lot more freedom. And freedom, speaking of freedom,
Hmm.
freedom is the key. I mean, you get freedom. It's like all those shackles that have been holding you
Hmm.
back from being able to achieve what you want to achieve sort of fall away. And then
Right.
you become the commander of your life. And what a
With the
beautiful thing.
divine. Yeah. I love
Well,
it so much.
everything is within in tandem because,
Hmm.
even our body, the etheric body over our physical body, without the etheric body, we're just a lump of skin and bones and
Right.
organs just in a pile. It's the etheric body that keeps us erect and gives us animation and gives us,
Right.
so much that the physical body gets to experience and enjoy. It's because of the etheric body.
Right.
And, we don't want to let that go and become a mound. It's the same thing with what we're talking about with gratitude and kindness and love. Love is it's the big kahuna of everything.
It is the greatest healing quality that there is.
It
It's all
is.
there is. It's where we originated from. It's who we are. It's where we return. I mean, you can't get any more powerful than that.
Amen. It's so true. So true. I want to go back to your book, Love Yourself to Health. What's it? What is it? Tell me about the different pieces in the book. Like how are you loving
Sure.
yourself to health?
So, what it meant for me was creating a practice that would help support me every day. So, self love can be, those, sacred baths, things like that. However, this is deeper. It's, I share the 12 commandments Louise Hay taught us, to loving yourself, being gentle with your mind, being careful with your thoughts, not not bullying yourself, and then going into setting intentions, because in the old days I would set resolutions in
Mm-hmm.
January, and I found that resolutions for me, very rarely did I stay to them, whereas an intention is, when you set the intention, energy flows where your attention goes. And
Yes.
for me, it was setting me up for success. So since 2015, I've intuited a word of the year. And in 2015, it was grace. This year, they brought me the words during Colette Baron Reid's Oracle Palooza. I received power, beloved, and radiance. And
Nice.
it was interesting because this year it was peace. And I've had a lot of chaos this year because it is the duality of the peace. And
Yes.
it was to create boundaries. It was learning to say no. It was okay that, I had to learn to be the observer and not be the absorber. Not that I'm this perfect being, because of course I still had triggers. And it has been an amazing journey in recognizing that I have these choices, that I am in control, that I don't need external validation,
Yes.
that what I think of me is truly what's important. So my book sets you up for that, to create a life of your desires with the divine. So I share prayers in here. I share mirror work, the process of letting go, goals and dreams and vision boards. Um, of course, I have gratitude practice in here. I have the angels that I invoke. I also have Jesus, who is forgiveness for me, because we're already forgiven. So that was a big, that was a big revelation, because I've been holding a lot of energy that I didn't need to, that I don't need to, that I can let myself off the hook.
Yes.
And
Because that's
so,
forgiveness, right? It's letting
yeah,
yourself off the hook, but not because you're getting away with anything. You're being kind to yourself. You're
right.
unloading, mounds of weight by saying, I
Yes,
forgive myself for what I've done. For what did Jesus say
exactly.
about they don't know? I mean, he was on the cross. He goes, forgive them, God,
for
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 they
they
don't know what
yeah
they're
no you're
doing.
doing yeah, they don't know what they're doing. And for me, it was, I remember saying to Sunny last year, Sunny, I don't feel like this fat Juliana anymore. And I've learned fat is energy, that I am this empath, that I have fat, I am not fat, just like I have fingernails, I am not
Yes.
fingernails. And so it was this paradigm shift within me, that I am releasing weight now. I've released 25 pounds in the last 3 months. And so I'm on
Congratulations.
this, thank you. I'm on this journey now that I can release the old pain, the old shame, the old guilt, and gratitude and self love and forgiveness and kindness to me. And
Yes.
then going out into the world and reminding others of, you have this power within you to heal your life as well. And that power comes from the divine. And it is all interwoven, just like you beautifully said, a few minutes ago, that we're all one. And that
Yes.
energy is available to all of us. I'm not more special than anybody. It's like any language that you wish to learn. You have a desire, you put your energy, your focus, your heart, your soul into it.
Yes.
And so for me, like I said, Marla, there is no alternative. I need this, like the air that I breathe, this, all of it. The gratitude helps me every day stay in that state of grace. And even when I fall,
Yes.
I'm not down for long. I
Right.
have the
It's just a
tools now.
temporary.
Right. Whereas before, Marla, I would go to those, like I suffered with depression or stuffing my emotions. Thank goodness I've never really used drugs or alcohol. Food was my poison. I remember so many times, Sunny would say, just be in awareness of, what you're doing during the day that would be considered a negative habit. And I would be standing in the pantry eating chips and going, okay, chips is anger. And it fit for me. It's that crunchy, that stuffing, because you're not being heard. People don't understand you. They're perceiving you in a certain way. And because I truly had to learn, it was like you're this little child that had to learn how to communicate effectively, that had to learn how to share your truth without sounding like a not nice person,
Yeah. It's true.
and people perceiving you as better. No, that is not it. And so many times I've said, people say, oh, you think that you're better than, no, this fat body never felt worthy.
Well,
And
yeah.
so it's been this journey, a great journey of discovery.
It's powerful. It's truly powerful. And once you start with the forgiveness and the self-love and the kindness and the gratitude for everything
Hmm.
that you're learning, it's it's like the window shades go apart, the window opens, you get a breeze, and it's just like that beautiful spring or fall day that the air just feels so amazing. And that's what
Yeah,
it is.
it really is. I often equate it with my clients. I say, I feel like I was walking in black and white. And then when I had this, dark night of the soul and I had my spiritual awakening, I feel like now I'm walking in color.
Pleasantville. Remember the movie Pleasantville?
Yeah,
It is exactly like that, where
it
you're,
really
you know,
is.
you're living and everything's in black and white and it's not changing and your chin is dragging on the ground metaphorically. And then all of a sudden, when things start to change and you start to become more aware and awakened, the colors start to come in. I need to take a quick stop because we're a little late on charity shout out and we're going to come back to this
Sure. Okay.
conversation. And your charity is Gems for Gems. So let's talk
Yes.
about Gems for Gems.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share. Gems for Gems is an amazing charity that I'm an ambassador of, that we help support women who are survivors of domestic abuse. And so we give a hand up. Right now, we are gearing up for our jewelry campaign. Around this time of the year, we collect gently used jewelry because our founder, Jordan Guilford, when she created the charity, it was because one Christmas, her mom, didn't have, well, they wanted to buy their mother a gift. And so they gave her a piece of jewelry and she put it on, I believe it was a bracelet. And she put it on, and Jordan and her siblings realized what a gift it was and how it shifted her mother. Her mother got dressed up. I'm getting all goosebumps. And it really affected change. So our jewelry campaign is the first campaign that we do. And I was sharing with you earlier in the green room that now we have also progressed to, we have baby boxes. Our first baby box,
Which
which is called Hope's Cradle, is at one of the Strathmore fire departments. And I believe it is Manitoba that is now going to house our second one. So we help women who feel like they don't have a choice, that now they can safely surrender their baby rather than the alternative that we've all heard the horror stories. So Gems for Gems is a registered charity in Canada. And so I'm really proud to be a part of them and to help women empowerment in such a way that before COVID, we had these events where we would have money mentors and, police officers and lawyers, where the women could come in a safe space and receive the support so that they can, release themselves from situations that are not in their highest and greatest good. And so we're getting back into that. It's just taking some time because we're still in this post COVID, and so it's doing good work with the jewelry, which we give to women in domestic violence, domestic abuse shelters, and yeah, it gives them a gift at Christmas.
and how beautiful is that? Because they need to feel good. And
Right.
sometimes you don't know what the little trinket, whatever it might be, whether it's earrings, rings, jewelry, a necklace, what that's going to do and what it's going to mean to them to have something. Because so many people don't even have that.
Right.
Nobody's
And
ever
we
given
we
them
clean
or
it up. We put them in little organza bags. And so, everything is sanitary, and we also accept new, of course. However, a lot of women, they'll buy something, maybe they wear it once and they think, "Oh, I don't like that." We'll receive that. And so if anybody is interested in that, we just started that the other day again. So, thank you for allowing me to share that.
I thank you for sharing, and I think it's so powerful. And I know before the show we were talking about the baby box
Mhm.
and how, especially in the United States now that they've overturned Roe versus Wade. And I don't want to get
Yeah.
political, but it will cause a lot of people who are forced to go through pregnancy to do things to the child that shouldn't be done or treat them in a way. And at least if there's some place you can surrender them safely and know that this is another human being. And let's remind everybody, too, that when you do something ill to another human being, you don't get off scot free. whether it's an infant or not.
Exactly. And so we're really proud of it. It's a safe surrender box. It's called Hope's Cradle. It's a warm cradle. And as soon as the baby is surrendered, there are forms that the mom can write the baby a letter, and you can put a bit of history. And they also have a period of time that they can change their mind. However, the baby is safe. It's warm. As soon as the baby is put in there, it's in an area that, you know, the woman has privacy. However, on the other side, the firefighters are notified right away so that the baby is safe.
And that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, people, my husband's adopted. So I can talk about this from, and I've had a number of clients, of course, who had been adoptees and how they feel. And even if it's not on a conscious level, there's a subconscious about being abandoned. And it really gives an imprint of abandonment. So when you can let your child go and even leave a letter saying, I'm sorry, you know, even if it's just so hard, but how you were conceived might not have been, would have not been good for us together. So I'm
Right.
hoping that I'm giving you up so that you can have the life you deserve, will
Right.
probably soften the edges of feeling abandoned and not wanted.
Yes, they've
For
thought
babies
about
growing
all
up.
of that. I'm really proud of the work that I wasn't on that committee. However, just being a part of the charity and the integrity and the entire team of support, they thought, like, they didn't leave any stone unturned, even asking the history so that the baby has the history, a letter from the mom. It's really a beautiful process. So if anybody's interested, they can absolutely look at our website, gemsforgems.com.
And I think it would be something that would be great to be started down here in the States. We are sister countries. Why not have sister
Absolutely.
organizations?
Yeah,
So,
Jordan's very motivated, and I'm not sure what the laws are in the US, but up here it's hard because a lot of people, they have a lot of opposing views. It's been very interesting
well,
to be a part of.
like down here, a lot of opposing views, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but you know, I'm not going to get started because this is
No,
not a
I guess
political
that's part of the
conversation.
journey, right? That's
It's
part of the journey, that we all have our choice, that we can choose to be the change, right? We
yes.
don't need to get in on the politics. Everybody knows that it's out there, and we choose to shed the light, share the light on these very important topics.
So our time is running slim. I have a question, but I also want you to give you the opportunity of talking about something that I might have not brought up in this conversation. So I'm going to give you the option of the question, or for you to talk about something I have not yet brought out in our conversation.
Well, I think that you shared a little bit. I thought, given this opportunity, you asked me what my catalyst was to, gratitude and making it a practice. What was yours?
Because I came out of a horrendous divorce, a terrible, terrible divorce, with an abusive situation, and I started my prayers as I was going through the divorce. But once I got through the divorce and I was connected with my now husband, I just was so grateful for everything, and I just started organically just saying that I'm grateful for this, this, and this. And the list just kept growing and growing and growing. And that's when I
Beautiful.
realized, like, how happy I am. And so, I mean, I wake up, I'm human like everybody. So I don't do
Absolutely,
this
sister.
every night, but every once in a while, I'll have one of those mornings I'm not singing and dancing. But I know that when in the morning I wake up like I pop out of bed like a piece of toast, and I start my day in joy, and know that whatever it is I'm going to do, whether it's a work day or not a work day, that I'm doing everything for the highest and best good of anybody who I come in contact with, because I'm so joyful about being able to share the message of spirit and walking a spiritual path. And it just is something that like you, I'm here to be of service. I'm here to give people opportunities to open up that window, open up those shades, open up that window and heal themselves so that they can live the life they're divinely meant to live. And I'm
Right.
passionate about it, as I know you are.
I am. I'm so
And
grateful that you invited me today, Marla. What a joy. Thank you.
I am so grateful for you being on the show, as always. But here's what I'm going to tell everybody. Please reach out to Giuliana. It's GiulianaMelo.com. You're going to find her, all of her links and everything on the blog. But I wanted you to reach out, check Giuliana out, what she does, how she can work with you, because like myself, she is just this catalyst of change, and she wants to help you on your journey. And we all deserve that, because as you've heard today, Giuliana had her issues with not being in self-love and having all of her anger issues in the other, as did I. So as much as you'd like to say, but they've got a show, they're on here, they're talking about it. Well, we didn't always have the show, and we, like you, had to start someplace. So check out Giuliana, check me out. That just whatever it is, know that whatever you're going through that might not be serving you well, you do have a way out. And so there are many people, and those are the people I bring on the show, because I want you to have resources to start living the life that you're meant to live. And that means you need to heal those faulty thoughts, those negative and limiting belief systems, and start learning how to get into your self-love. Thank you, Kelly. So again, Giuliana, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for all your wisdom and your stories and everything you shared.
Thank
you. And especially about the gratitude, because like I say, this is a month that we're going to be doing a lot of gratitude talk. And so grateful for you. And keep those beautiful posts coming up on Facebook and Instagram and, all your social media, because
Thank you.
I love seeing them and what you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Marla.
My absolute pleasure. Bridget, as always, my right hand, my left hand, my tech wizard. Thank you so much for all you do for me, my guests, that our guests that come on the show, so that we can give them the best sound, the best light that they can be in, so they can share their message. And you are such a great part of it and my business. So thank you. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for taking time out of your day, out of your life, to be a part of the show. Whether you're here live or you're listening to the replay, it is because of you that I have this passion of continuing the show. April will be going in my 5th year, and it's a long time. Oh my God, look at that cutie patootie.
He wanted to come say bye. This is the Maxie.
Maxie, oh my God.
Isn't he cute? He's my baby.
He's adorable. Thank you, Maxie, for coming on the show. But getting back to the audience, know how grateful I am. Using the word grateful, capitals, underlined, italicized, for you, because I do this for you, and you coming back to me and watching the show and liking it, subscribing to it, and reviewing it are ways that you give back to me. So thank you. As I leave you, I want to let you know that I'm blessed and grateful for each and every one of you. So thank you. Know you are loved by myself. I can talk for Giuliana, is that okay? By Giuliana, by Maxie, but you're loved by those on the other side of the veil. And they're conspiring for you to live a happy, fulfilled, joyful life. And all you need to do is ask them. Reach out verbally in your mind for what you need, want, desire, and let them start conspiring on your behalf. Even if it is, how do I get out of this rut that I've put myself in? They will bring you the answer. You have to be open to the answer, because it's not linear. It may come in very unique ways, but if you're open to the answer, you'll receive it. And until next week, stay well. And again, know you're loved. Take care.